Why are you so resentful of your younger self? Why do you look back on your past self with disdain, with resentment, with disgust, with embarrassment? Is that going to get you anywhere? Is that going to elevate you and lift you into a high vibration of gratitude? I don't think it is. I think it's going to keep you stuck in the past. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Molly, and if you're new here, it is a pleasure and an honor to have you here as always. This is such a safe space, and I want to really create a space where you can be you, be and live in your authenticity, and just also flourish in it. This is me and you together. This is not me helping you, this is us helping each other. These videos are a digital diary, if you will. They are a reflection of what I am currently going through, things I have learned, because I want to be able to help you, and I want to be able to help somebody who was once in my situation, who was once struggling with the things that I have learned from, and who is struggling with the things that now I'm all the wiser for knowing. And like I always say, take from my videos what serves you, take from my videos what resonates, and leave the rest. If you don't like a piece of my advice or feel like it doesn't align to your life, leave it. That's what I do. I always filter through. I'm not really into hustle culture. I'm not really into like grinding and never stopping and never resting. I'm very much into slow productivity, honoring your needs, honoring yourself, and just really going after your goals, but also prioritizing your rest and having down days. Today I really wanted to touch on the power and the importance of thanking your past self. You know what song always pops into my head, and it's so funny because my last video I actually talked about a Mariah Carey album, but what always pops into my head whenever I think about this is, and for that I say thank you next. Thank you next. Because that song is the epitome of thanking your past relationships for what they have taught you, for the fact they taught you so much that you can now go on and go into life and go into new relationships and build a stronger life and stronger relationships for yourself. You can now go into new relationships a much stronger, much more wiser, and much more healed. And I think that is the importance of thanking not only past experiences, past people, but also yourself. You can still acknowledge, this person fucked me over, this person did me dirty, this person wronged me like so badly, but you know what? I'm grateful because I am now all the wiser. I also now know what my boundaries are. I also now know how and what to do in situations where I feel like I'm being disrespected, because I now have a stronger sense of self-love and a stronger sense of self-worth. It takes going through the hardship, it takes going through the tough periods and the tough people and the tough life to build a beautiful, strong foundation of a life for yourself. When you think of a house, you don't just first get to decorate the house. You have to do the boring stuff. You have to build the foundation. You have to lay the bricks. You have to plaster the walls. You have to build the ceiling and build the chimney and build the interior before you can even start thinking of decorating, before you can even start getting to the fun bit. I mean, if you're into architecture and building houses, you might find that bit fun. But like, the point is that you have to go through the hard stuff. You have to go through the bits that are challenging and the tough parts, the bits that take a long time for you to finally get to the point of decorating and showing your authenticity within your house and showing who you are within your house. And this is the exact same thing. You know, it takes going through the people who didn't enable you to be yourself. You had to go through the tough environments that tore you to pieces in order for you to fully use those pieces to build yourself back up. It takes going through those hard moments in order for you to build and furnish the house of your dreams, in order for you to build and create a beautiful life for yourself. And oftentimes we live in the past, right? We are like one of the only species and one of the only creatures that can turn on fight or flight by thought. We can turn on fight or flight by just thinking about a past experience, by thinking about something that triggers a stress response in us. An emotion is a chemical reaction. Being stressed is a chemical reaction inside of your body. And we are very much focused on the three external things. And the author Joe Dispenza talked about this in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. If you haven't read this, it's a really good book. He basically says that, from my understanding, there's like three things, okay? There's our physical body, there's time, and there's your environment. And most people spend so long thinking about and stressing about those three things. So what they look like, their body, their appearance, a job that they hate, they're focused on these things that are external to us. And that means we most often live in the past because we will predict a future event with the past. We will think that like, I was made to feel this way in the past, so this is obviously how my future is going to be. You know, maybe you were cheated on in your past relationships. Now when some guy comes into your life, it reminds you of the previous relationship. So that triggers a stress hormone in your body, which triggers a fight or flight response, which is obviously really bad for your cells. And obviously living in a state of stress and living in a state of fight or flight your whole life, you'll get premature illnesses. You will get illnesses, you'll get cancer, you'll get chronic illnesses, you will get low immunity. There's lots of different repercussions physically on how living in a state of stress can impact you. That can often lead to you hyperfixating on past experiences and hyperfixating on how you were treated in the past, that it really lowers down your vibration. It really lowers down your vibe. In order to increase our vibe to a state of gratitude, you have to stop living in the past. The past doesn't exist anymore. We are all just a state of being. The past doesn't exist, but it will keep living on through you. You'll keep attracting experiences similar to what you went through in the past if you keep allowing it to control you. If you keep allowing yourself to be triggered and you keep allowing the stress and the fight or flight chemical reaction in your body to happen when you think about the past. When you can understand that you are above time, you are a spiritual being, you are above space, you're above time, you are above all the limiting physical things that you think you are. You aren't just a vessel. Now, of course, right, this is a very natural thing, it's a very human thing. As human beings, we have evolved and adapted. We don't live in a time anymore where we're having to run away from animals that are going to eat us. So therefore, our brain will find different things to stress about. Instead of stressing about an animal running away from us, we're now stressing about our ex-boyfriend walking in the shop, or we're now stressing about something else that has triggered that fight or flight response. You could be sat on your bed and think about how something happened in your past. Maybe a week ago, your boss shouted at you, and you're going to think about that, and it's going to trigger a stress response in you. You go to bed now feeling stressed out and feeling pissed off. You're going to wake up the next day still feeling pissed off because of how you didn't really get a lot of sleep last night because you're too busy thinking about it. Now you're going to go through your day still feeling pissed off, and you're going to naturally attract things into your life to piss you off more. And the more that you live like that, the more that you live in that state of pissed offness, you're going to start to form resentment. Now you can live your whole life in resentment, and what is happening is that you are putting energy into external things. You are putting your energy into external factors. So your internal being, your cells, your body's ability to be able to rejuvenate and heal itself and kind of like look after itself is being neglected. That is why then people develop illnesses, because their internal state and their internal is being neglected. It will knock you down. Living in a state of stress will knock you down. And constantly living in the past and ruminating over embarrassing moments. When I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about like massive traumatic events. Just want to preface that. If you have experienced massive trauma, that's not something that just disappears with positive thinking. Like, I'm not trying to preach that. Yeah, living in the past and ruminating over things that have happened to you in your life, you know, the person that you met and then you fell over in front of them and now you think that you're just an embarrassing person to be around, or the things that happened in your past that now you live in that and you attach that to your identity. You become a resentful person, you become an insecure person, you become a very easily embarrassed person. It becomes who you are. When people think about you, do they think that you're confident, or do they think that you're repellingly insecure? It's the past experiences that have shaped and formed your identity. It's the past people, the past things that have happened that have made you feel insecure. But when you realize that you are just a vessel, you can go and you can spend your whole entire life hating on your body. You can go and spend your entire life hating on your face, so much to the point that you won't even go outside, to the point that you won't even be in pictures, you won't even want to do anything because of how much you hate yourself. When you're just a vessel, you are literally a vessel. You are a beautiful soul. You are a soul composed of a personality and so much beautifulness and life to you, put inside of a temporary thing. In 100 years, when you're no longer here anymore, you're not going to have a body. Your body's going to be rotting in the ground. The thing that you hated on your whole life is going to be dead, rotting in the ground. Or in 80 years' time, when you're an elderly person, you're just going to be sat or led in a bed. You're not going to be able to use parts of your body that maybe you used to be able to use. Maybe you're going to really struggle to be able to use parts of your body, and you've spent your whole life hating on it because you've allowed your past experiences to control you. For example, right, I'm going to use this as an example so you can kind of contextualize or understand what I mean. But growing up, right, I was always told that I had a big forehead. Is that true? Yeah, I mean, you can take a look, right? Look closely at other people's forehead. It is a lot bigger. In comparison to other people's forehead, it might be smaller. Either way, okay, cool. Right, let's say I've got a big forehead, yeah? Now, I let this control me for a long time, and I'd be very insecure about it. I think like I've got a big forehead, and I wouldn't post a picture in an angle where my forehead looked big, or I'd be so thinking about it. Or like if I'm speaking to a guy who's taller than me, I'm thinking, oh my god, like he's probably looking at my massive forehead. Like, if I was speaking to somebody, they're probably thinking, gosh, she's got a massive fucking forehead. Literally a forehead, right? So I could have let the times in my life, the 3 or 4 times in my past, in my childhood, where I was told I had a big forehead, dictate the rest of my life. I could live in those moments for the rest of my life, and I would never go after my goals. I would never post myself online. I would be really insecure and timid and shy speaking to a guy, because what if he's thinking about my big forehead? I could let those 4 instances, which probably lasted about 30 seconds each, control and dictate the 80 to 100 years, the rest of my life, if I'm lucky to live that long. I could let 30 seconds, which is about 1 minute, which is about 2 minutes of my life, dictate the next 80 to 100 years. Do you think I'm that fucking stupid? Do you think I'm that stupid to let somebody who doesn't even know me, who doesn't know anything about my life, doesn't know anything about me as a person, control the rest of my life? You actually, like, are you deranged? Are you okay? Are you ideologically challenged? Like, it's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna let somebody dictate the rest of my life, because guess what? I've let it control me for so long, for years and years and years. And this is often what happens, is you will go through school, you will go through your life being told things about yourself, and because you don't know any better, because you haven't been able to form and shape your sense of identity yet, you allow it to become your identity. And not only do you allow the insecurities other people have placed on you to become your identity, you also allow what that entails to become your identity. Someone's told you that you've got a big forehead, now you believe you have a big forehead, but you're also insecure. That's 2 things that are now part of your identity. Someone could look at me and think and know, oh my god, she's so insecure about her big forehead. Or someone could look at me and not even know about that and think that I'm crazy, incredibly confident. Like, you have a choice. And you know what? I am grateful. I am so grateful to that experiences, those 2 minutes of my life. I'm so grateful to those experiences of being told things about me. I'm so grateful they happened, because if they hadn't have happened, I wouldn't now be able to approach different situations where my appearance is being challenged and targeted, how I'd approach it now. Does that make sense? Because now if someone says to me, you look like this, through one ear out the other, I don't even think twice about it. Like, I couldn't care less. But again, I wouldn't have had and developed that mindset if that experience hadn't have happened. I believe, and I'm a very strong believer, that people come into your life for a season or for a reason or forever. People are either a lesson or a blessing. We often hold a lot of resentment towards people, and by the way, it's perfectly okay to hold resentment towards, like, your abusive ex or whatever it is. Like, I fucking would. I think that we tend to hold a lot of resentment towards people who may have wronged us in the past. We tend to live and ruminate in that. We tend to think, why do they ghost me, and why do they never ever reply back to me? And you will think about it. Even in 5 years' time, you might still be thinking about it. We as human beings tend to ruminate because it's almost like a gap has been left. If someone ghosts you, as an example, someone never replies back to you and ghosts you, there's a gap in your head that hasn't been filled. You have been left without answers. So you start to question yourself. Instead of thinking probably a them issue in the fact that maybe they're just a dick, or like they aren't ready for a relationship or whatever, or maybe they're just a massive bellend. Like, instead of thinking that, we tend to think, I'm just so unlovable, and it's because I'm this, and it's because I'm that, and it's because maybe I said something wrong. And you go through your text messages a million different times trying to figure out what it is that you said wrong and where you went wrong, when most of the time, just take it for what it is. What's happened? Someone hasn't spoken to you. Their fucking loss. Their loss. Their loss, because I'll tell you something, there is somebody out there who will walk to the ends of the earth just to want to be in the same company as you. And you should be that for yourself. You should be the person who wants to be there for you and accept no less. If someone is showing you signs they're not interested in you, stop trying to pursue it. Stop trying to go after it. If someone doesn't like you and someone doesn't even want you in their circle, stop trying to pursue it and put your energy where you know it's going to be valued and where you know it's going to be loved and where you know that it's going to be reciprocated. Stop going after people and stop allowing people in your life and stop ruminating over people who have just fucked you over, who have just made you feel shit. Why even give them the mental space? Why are you going to ruminate over somebody from your past who ghosted you 5 years ago that you still think about to this day? Why even give them the mental space? They don't even have the decency to be able to communicate with you and say, look, like, I don't really see this working out and I don't really want to lead you on, and I'm, thank you for your time and I wish you the best in life. Maybe, look, I'm just not really ready for a relationship right now and I know that if we continued this, like, it just wouldn't work out. You know, I'm not really ready for a relationship right now and I don't really want to lead you on. If someone doesn't even have the fucking basic, the bare minimum decency to tell you and say to you, look, I'm sorry, I don't see this working out, and communicating with you, which is bare fucking minimum, why should you spend the next 5 years thinking about why they didn't text you back? Why should you spend the next 5 years ruminating and like thinking, why, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Maybe it was something I said and I'm such a bad person. And then now every single guy that you speak to in the future, you approach with like, this isn't gonna fail because this is how I've been treated in my past. The reason how I know this is because I used to do that. When I would get ghosted or when people wouldn't reply to me, I would take it so personally. Whereas now, you know what? I think that, like I said, it's either a lesson or a blessing or both. It can be both at the same time. They can teach you something and also be a blessing. I'm grateful none of these things worked out. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that these people didn't end up working out in my life. I'm so grateful these situations didn't end up happening. Why? Because I know it was meant to be for something greater to come into my life. I needed to learn that lesson. I'm so grateful I did learn that lesson, because now I can approach new relationships and new situations with a more clarity and a more abundant based mindset. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, so what? So what? Because guess what? Someone better and someone more aligned is going to come into your life. Maybe you were supposed to meet that person that didn't really work out with, so you could get this amazing new job, or so you could start doing this amazing new thing, or maybe they got you into a hobby, or now going to become your lifelong hobby. You never know. There's always a reason why we interact with people, and there's always a reason why we meet people. This isn't even just romantic either. This is also friendships. When you live in gratitude and when you are grateful, it increases your vibration. You are signaling to the universe that there is goodness in situations, and when you are signaling to the universe that there's goodness, you're going to get more of that. When you are grateful for things that haven't even happened yet, when you're grateful for the relationship that you're not even in right now, but you're so grateful for this amazing healthy relationship, you are signaling to the universe that you already have it. So naturally, you are going to put yourself and you're going to be in environments where this new relationship is going to come to you. And also as well, where you're going to be so grateful and you're going to believe that you already have a very healthy relationship and a beautiful relationship. If someone comes into your life and isn't giving you that, they're going to be quickly booted out, because you know this is not the relationship that I'm manifesting. Gratitude is one of the highest frequencies. It's one of the highest vibrations. And resentment and anger towards your past is one of the lowest ones. Like I said, we spend so much time living in the past, and it's quite a natural thing to do to some extent. Like I said, we are the only species that can trigger fight or flight just by thought. So most of the time that we are living in the past, we are resentful towards people in our past, and we are resentful towards environments or situations that happened in our past. We're resentful towards it. We are always going to be living in our past, and we are always going to be attracting the similar situations or bad things into our future. Because if you do want to live in the past, look back at it with gratitude. Look back at that time and think, I'm so grateful that this happened. I'm so grateful this person came into my life. I'm so grateful that I got to meet this person, because if I didn't do this, I wouldn't have done this. If I hadn't have done that, this wouldn't have happened. And everything happens for a reason. It's a lesson and it's a blessing, and it can be both. Stop living in your past with resentment and start creating your future with gratitude. That's the only way. That's the only way to ever alchemize those negative past experiences into something positive. Yeah. That's all I can say, mate. You can also hold a lot of resentment for yourself. There's another thing I wanted to touch on that I just literally remembered. I was about to end it off and I was like, no, I remember this one thing. Stop resenting yourself. Stop hating on yourself. Stop hating yourself for not knowing the things only time could have taught you. Stop hating on yourself for not knowing things that only life and only experience could have taught you. You hate yourself because you allowed this person in your life. You hate yourself and you think you're so stupid and you're so dumb because you enabled this environment, or you enabled this situation to happen. You egged it on, you kept it happening, you kept it in your life, and now you think, God, I was such a dick. You can hate yourself for something that you needed to go through, that you needed to experience, that you needed to have learned in order for you to be someone now. And you can either view that situation with self-hatred, or you can view that situation with, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for allowing this person in my life who wasn't good for me. I'm a very much experienced person. I've always been like it. I can't help it. I do everything and I want to do everything. I want to be everything. But oftentimes people say to me, they're like, God, like, why do you make life so difficult for yourself? You know, in order for you to get here, you go like here, just to get there, instead of just going like that. And I say to them, well, if I did that, look how much I'd miss on the way if I did this, and this. If I've done this, and this, look how much things I've experienced on the way than if I was just to go straight there. So stop hating on yourself for experiencing things that maybe hurt you or destroyed you, because they have only ever made you stronger. They only ever will make you stronger if you allow them to, if you go and you change your mindset. Living in resentment gets you nowhere. Living in gratitude gets you everything. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have to say, I think this might be my favorite video that I've made. I wasn't really sure what to film it on today. I don't even know how I came up with this idea, but it came into my mind and I was like, I've got to make a video on this. Like, I have to do this. So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I love you so much. I love every single one of you. I appreciate every single one of you, and please let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below. Anything you want to add as well, any commentary, any opinions, anything you thought of while watching this, I'd love to hear it. So please let me know, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.